Hey guys, my name is Ryan.
And my name is Miska.
And welcome to Overwatch Central. So it is always exciting to be in a period where some of these big nerfs and buffs come into the game. With all of the excitement surrounding Roadhog and McCree, it felt it was important to go over some previous changes that we saw at the start of this month, specifically looking at that hero that caused a lot of problems earlier this week by being a little bit broken in-game, and that being Orisa. We want to go over how the buffs to her then actually helped out a lot, but still leave some pretty significant problems with her kit.
Orisa's changes weren't straightforward. We saw these changes hit the live servers on June 6th, and since then the change hasn't made a massive difference in how often she's played. Her damage with her main weapon was reduced by a 9% chunk, whilst the shield cooldown was reduced from 12 seconds to 8. The patch notes explain the changes by saying, to help Orisa maintain the front line for her team, we are reducing the cooldown of her protective barrier. This change also helps her reposition the barrier more easily when needed. To compensate for this new defensive strength, we're reducing her fusion driver's damage, as it felt too high. The damage nerf caught a lot of people's attention, with one user jumping onto the Blizzard forums to say that the damage reduction wasn't necessary. Principal designer Jeff Goodman explained the changes in more detail, adding that the cooldown change on her barrier is a massive change, significantly improving her viability as a frontline tank and increasing her own survivability.
The changes eventually went through, and for the most part they were overlooked. The minor damage nerf to Soldier and buffs to Hanzo and Genji took center stage, so it came as no surprise to anyone that Orisa's shield buff was kind of ignored. Saying that, some interesting stats came out from our friends Omnic Meta, saying that not only has her damage blocked improved a lot, but Orisa on average was blocking more damage than Reinhardt. It's worth stating that even before the changes went through, Orisa and the latest incarnation of Reinhardt were pretty much 50-50 on how much damage they blocked, but the buff made it so that she could just pull out ahead, blocking as much as 25k damage on average. But looking at pick rate sites like Overbuff, Master Overwatch and the meta reports that Omnic Meta do, you can see that Orisa's peak rate hasn't improved at all, saying that her win rate actually has gone up about 2 to 3% since the changes went live. Doesn't sound like much, but it's actually quite a lot given how balanced most of the heroes are. So Orisa is most definitely better. She's good, but not good enough.
Basically, yeah, Orisa just doesn't have enough to deal with what the meta is currently throwing at her, and that's because she is a slow anchor tank. Orisa was meant to be able to give Reinhardt a run for his money, and nowadays it definitely feels like she can do that. But Reinhardt in himself is a hero on a steep slope down into obscurity at this point too. Dive is just too good for Orisa to deal with. Whilst her effective range is alright for close combat, the nature of her weapon just doesn't quite allow shots to be landed reliably. With also the likes of Roadhog struggling, it just seems impossible to play any tank that doesn't have any form of mobility right now. When Orisa came out, she was definitely a niche pick. Nowadays it feels more like she could actually contest for a main tank slot if Winston wasn't so integral to a team. Is there any way to change Orisa more? Well, during the time she was released, she did actually receive a nerf to her ultimate. It meant that the supercharger would charge 15% slower than before. Her magazine size was also brought down to 200. A keen eye on the Blizzard forums pointed this out and asked to maybe revert the ultimate charge nerf, as Orisa's damage is a lot lower now. Jeff Goodman again responded saying that it was fair feedback and they'd look into it. A month and a half later and nothing has really been changed. I feel like we are yet to see Orisa's true potential, but any changes to her now whilst she is in an out of favor meta may mean she'll be a must pick down the line. So this is another one of those moments where Blizzard have to be really careful with their balance to not create a monster later down the line.
And that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. We had a lot of people say when the bug with Orisa being able to ult and while she's ulted still getting ult charge while supercharge is up, saying that that was a good way to sort of fix her, but let us know what you think about that in particular, and is there anything that you would change about her kit to make her much more useful, or do you just think that it's just the time, it's a dive meta, she's not going to be used a lot because she's so slow? Let us know in the comments below, and until next time, take care, we'll see you then.